is a really big game. So it's a very intimidating achievement because you literally have to travel hundreds of thousands of light years to reach this destination. And what you have to do first is start a new game in permadeath mode, excuse me. So you do that by selecting new game, going to custom. There's an option here for permadeath somewhere. You want to look for a planet that is either a paradise world or grassy, or otherwise it'll sound inviting. This is definitely not a paradise planet. Essentially, you're looking for a inviting climate that will give you the best chance of surviving while you stock up on precious resources. You'll need to stock up on things like your basic crafting resources, which is carbon and ferrite dust. And you also need to gather a bunch of sodium and oxygen. Welcome to my humble little base. Paradise worlds look more or less like this. You might get different colored grass, sorry, and water, but generally the climate is quite nice. There's a few important reasons. You need a lot of nanites, and the easiest way to get it, or the fastest, I find, is looking for empty moons or planets. They might be described as dead or abandoned or anything really, and they generally look dry and cracked and wrinkled from outer space. They may look like they've got clouds and things, but generally they have a low atmosphere, low gravity, and not very much besides rocks. The nice thing about these planets is low gravity. Just make sure if you're starting out and you haven't installed any upgrades to recharge your launch fuel before you leave your ship so you can summon it in. Otherwise you'll have to make the long haul back to your ship. You're looking for something called a whispering egg. They look like that. These things are quite dangerous, so make sure you are ready to run. An important technique is, I call it a melee boost. You hit your sprint, melee to give yourself forward momentum, and immediately hit your jetpack, which propels you forward. The idea is simple. You harvest this, and you run. You're going to die if these things attack you. And using this technique, you can put a lot of distance between yourself and the biological horrors which will otherwise end your life. And I'm running away. It can be quite tricky and it's quite dangerous, to be honest, but it's efficient. There's another one. Take your time with this. Just put as much distance between you and those things as you can. No need to fight them. And pick up any whispering eggs you find. Now, how does this get you to the galaxy center, you might wonder? It doesn't. But it does get you nanites, which I'll explain in a moment. Refining these whispering eggs, or lava cores rather, which is what you get from the whispering eggs, gives you nanites. Quite a lot of them. Stack of 10 gives you 500 nanites. You'll need lots of these to buy upgrades and things. But once you got your nanites, you'll want to visit this guy in the corner next to your appearance modifier. Don't forget to buy capacity upgrades for your exosuit. Speak to the merchant. These guys sell upgrade modules. I think the most important ones to have, you're looking for some movement, but mostly shield and life support modules. Next you'll want to visit Iteration Hyperion over here. Purchase these upgrades: cadmium, emerald, and indium drives. To get to the center of the galaxy, or as close to it as you can, there are two ways you can do it quite easily. The first is using the interstellar terminus over here. You'll be using this probably along the way. As you visit other systems, you can use it to teleport back to your home base, saving warp drive fuel. You'll see player bases here as well. Just, if you keep an eye out, people are pretty consistent in their naming conventions. And they often will name their base, especially if it's in the proximity of the galactic center. It will reference center in some way. Not always. Some people are better than others at it. Other name conventions that are common are resources. But the other way you can do it is using the portal glyphs, and to get them, well, there's a couple methods. You can play through the Artemis quest line, or there are travelers you can visit on space stations. They're kind of like translucent looking guys. If you ask them where you're from, it's going to cost you 100 nanites, but they'll give you a location of a traveler's grave. Visiting a traveler's grave will give you portal glyphs. Chatting through the Artemis quest line will also, if you play right through it, give you all the portal glyphs. You only really need one though. See right there, unknown grave. That's what travelers' graves look like. You can either look for a portal address online, someone's base near the center, or just spam this first glyph. And it should put you somewhere in the vicinity of the center. And this is also why you need to upgrade your equipment a bit, since you really don't know what to expect when you go through a portal. Okay, once you've gone through your portal, regardless of how you do it, it should be pretty close to the galaxy center. You need to select your path on the galactic map, aiming towards the center. You may still have a ways to go. Pretty close now. This should be my last jump. It's important, once again, to follow this path exactly. Otherwise, you might select a system that seems like it's right by the center, but it won't allow you to select the center from certain systems, even if they appear to be right on the galaxy center. Okay, now selecting the galaxy center. There's a couple requirements for this. Number one, you must have cadmium drive, your emerald drive, and your indium drive. I don't know where I put it. There it is. Installed. The hyperdrive must also be full. I mean, if you do it like you normally would, you see, I'm trying to click on this, select the galaxy center, it won't let me. There's a bit of a trick to it. I don't know. It's, oh yes, you gotta get your cursor over the line and hold down your mouse button It's a little bit easier to do with a controller. As you see, it says hyperdrive has no fuel, even though there's plenty of fuel in my hyperdrive. But what it wants is for my hyperdrive to be full. Word of warning though, once you reach the new galaxy, all your stuff's going to be broken.